Dear Aisha, when I am together with my old friends, I feel pretty disconnected and unauthentic. I always thought it is because I don't want to feel rejected that I have difficulties to speak my truth, but as I saw now, it's more about avoiding the feelings of helplessness and weakness, which comes up when I get in confrontations. Although I see that these relationships are just about hanging out in the way I behave now, it feels like cutting them is a way to avoid meeting these feelings. Can you give me some advice what life is asking for?
So basically, there are two sides to this. One side of it is the fact that when you choose love, you also embrace the reality of change. And while there is most definitely a learning which awaits from being able to stand and be yourself in any environment, then there is also a time where the taking of care carries great significance, where the conscious choice of choosing love makes perfect sense. So it's a little bit like the choices that we make in the initial phases of getting in touch with our own vulnerability. It's like planting a seed. And if we engage with the people that we have been engaging with always, but without there being any kind of opening, any kind of openness, any kind of invitation to a vulnerability, to a deeper touch, then it is like placing yourself. It's almost like planting a seed and then stomping on it. Do you understand? So in some sense, there is the conscious choice waiting to be had, waiting to be made, wherein you as that seed, the love of you as that seed, is invited to flourish. So there's a self-love to that part. But there's also the learning to be with these different quite gnarly aspects of like not being able to feel the helplessness and all of this. But in terms of embracing the changes which automatically come when we acknowledge and embrace truth, it is like we can bring the invitation to the table, but we can't make people anything. People have their own choices to make. And if you speak about the hanging out, and if I think about like how men operate together in that hanging out space, it's not exactly there isn't maybe not so much room for like the vulnerability of it. There isn't maybe so much room for the rawness of your essence as guys, or it can be that way. What is often there is like almost like a tossing ball from a place of hardness, maybe. So what you can acknowledge, what you can see here is that maybe there's an invitation for you to invite that particular context into something more real. I have moved out of settings in the past, but it has always happened after me giving my everything to the setting itself, to the context itself, and letting the people there make their own choices. As in, I can bring the truth to the table, but I cannot force anyone to want to face it, to want to face me, to want to meet deeper. And then if there is not the willingness to meet deeper, then you can ask yourself what you're even doing there. Because, it's like we can, there are the peoples that we just happen to be with because we ended up in like the same school or in the same workplace or stuff like that. And then there are the people that we can hold and have a deeper connection with. The people we can actually exchange with and be in actual relating with. Like real relating. And I will leave it up to you. But there is nothing wrong or off with making the conscious choice in that situation. It's like choosing love for yourself. But without doing it from a place of rejection. It's not like this. It's more like just laying it out, yeah? The love, the openness, the vulnerability, the invitation. Allowing the invitation to happen. And sometimes we get like in the heart because it isn't met. And if it's not met, there's nothing we can do. Convincing anyone is not our job. Choosing love is our job.